Foneddigion a boneddigesau, croeso I seremoni raddio dosbarth 2020 Prifysgol Caerdydd. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's graduation ceremony for Cardiff University Class of 2020. Eisteddwch os gwelwch yn dda. Bydd y seremoni yn dechrau mewn 10 munud. Please be seated. The ceremony will begin in 10 minutes. Rydyn ni nawr yn croesawu ein gwylwyr o bob cor o'r byd I Stadiwm y Principality drwy gyfrwng ffrwd fyw YouTube, fel y gallant ymuno â ni ar gyfer y seremoni. We now welcome our live stream viewers across the world to Principality Stadium in Cardiff for today's ceremony. Gwybodaeth, bydd y seremoni yn cynnwys effeithiau pyrotechnig. For information, please be aware the ceremony will include pyrotechnic effects. Rhannwch eich negeseuon o longyfarch a thagiwch eich lluniau gan ddefnyddio hashnod Gradd Caerdydd. Share your messages of congratulations and tag your posts with hashtag CardiffGrad.
I came to Cardiff from a little town in West Wales. It was a big transition for me. I saw Cardiff as the big city, but the community itself, I've got to say, felt very warm, it felt very intimate, and the student community was incredibly friendly. And I think that's one of the things that has not changed. Student life in Cardiff then and now was great fun.
Cardiff University, this is where I came to do my undergraduate degree. This is where I grew up. I love the city. I love so many things about it. I enjoyed studying here, for my medical degree, but I also participated in university life really widely. I wrote for Guy Reed, I designed the logo for it. I was in the horse riding club. We used to go galloping over Caerphilly Mountain, and I saw so many amazing bands when I was here, from Radiohead when they just released their first album, all the way to when they were playing in the arena. And I loved my university life, and I remember it very, very fondly.
So my experience at Cardiff and the postgraduate degree that I got here, you know, meant everything at the start of my career. You know, it helped me get my first job in newspapers, it helped me get a job at the BBC, and it helped me get a job at ABC News too. You know, and I think it's a guarantee of quality and integrity, and you can't ask for more than that in today's journalistic environment.
I'm a very passionate Welshman. I suppose I grew up in the city. My parents moved, my brother and I, there when I was about one year old. Medicine was the obvious choice, really. And so when you look around the country and look at the best medical schools, Cardiff was certainly up there. I loved the city. As I said, I grew up there, and yeah, it was you know, a great university. I had some great times there, and hugely thankful actually to the university for allowing me to combine my rugby career with academia.
Well, I actually grew up, grew up in Cardiff. I came here by complete chance, and it took me a really long time to go somewhere else home, so I really wanted to stay here, and I was really lucky that Cardiff University ranks as, you know, one of the top universities in engineering. So, and just everyone was really understanding. I don't have a family in the UK, so my personal tutor is kind of my family. Shout out to Dr. Richard Perks. Yeah, I think it's, you know, the time where I became the person that I am today.
When I graduated, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Cricket wasn't a sort of career path for me then. Women's cricket was only kind of semi-professional, so I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I think that's pretty common. I think a lot of graduates will be a bit unsure what path they want to go down, but know that they've had a great sort of base coming to Cardiff. They will have developed so many skills and met so many people that they'll use later in life without even knowing it, I guess. And yeah, just embrace the challenges to come and choose something that you're going to enjoy and is going to put a smile on your face.
Stand-up memories? That's a good question. There are many. Probably that finals week was the week we played England in 2013 and beat them in Cardiff. You know, England came for the Grand Slam in Cardiff and we blew them off the park. I sat my finals that week. Sat in the All Nations Centre at 9 a.m. on the Thursday, you know, the week we were playing England in the final game of the Six Nations. Sat there, obviously getting at 9 o'clock. I was out there by 10:30, 11. I drove straight to the Vale where we trained, straight to the side of the pitch, got out my car, put my Welsh kit on, boots on, and started the training session.
Well, I think, you know, this is an amazing time for all of you who are graduating right now. The world is changing very, very fast. And the world needs every great idea that you have, and it's a big, exciting world out there. And I know you're going to have an amazing time. So congratulations to everyone graduating this year.
What an amazing, amazing time to be graduating, but knowing what is on the cusp of technological development. Almost everywhere now are extraordinary breakthroughs. We are seeing obviously artificial intelligence and its promise, 3D technology, cloud computing, all these things are coming through. And so the real challenge for them is to take the culture and the value system in the society in which they have lived and go and reflect it out there.
I was back here in 1994 receiving my first degree, and that was a degree in anatomy, which I'm very pleased to say I got a first in, which is good. I went on to become an anatomist. But I then carried on studying medicine, so I then graduated for a second time in 1997. And both occasions were amazing days. I had friends and family all around me, and it's such a joyful occasion.
What I say is, be true to yourselves. Be ambitious, believe in your own skills. Don't over-promote yourself, because that's never a good thing, but be confident in what you want to do, and always, always carry with you the good values of being kind to people, being honest to people, and having integrity, and you won't go far wrong.
Foneddigion a boneddigesau, eisteddwch os gwelwch yn dda. Bydd y seremoni yn dechrau'n fuan. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The ceremony will begin soon.
Okay. Okay, you are. Please stand for the academic procession. be seated now. Good evening, everyone. Noswaith dda. Welcome to the Principality Stadium and Cardiff University's graduation ceremony for the class of 2020. I'm Miguela Gonzalez, a proud Cardiff University alumna, and I'll be your host for this very special celebration. Now, the reality is we're here today to mark your incredible achievements, so I'm not going to keep talking. Let's just get the proceedings underway. And welcome to the stage Cardiff University's Pro-Chancellor, the Reverend Gareth Powell.
Noswaith dda, croeso I Brifysgol Caerdydd. Good evening and welcome to Cardiff University and to this graduation ceremony for the class of 2020. My name is Gareth Powell and I'm one of the University Pro-Chancellors. Now, as a boy from Neath, a little further west from here, the fact that I can go home tonight and say to my father, "Dad, I was on the halfway line at the Principality Stadium," means that thanks to you, he will be proud of me. And you are the key players of tonight. And so we are grateful that after so many trials and so many tribulations, we have made it, you have made it, to this point. Therefore, a very warm welcome to all who have come to support those who will receive awards tonight. A very warm welcome to our honorary fellows. And a very warm welcome to those of you who have worked jolly hard to get here. This is an extraordinary type of graduation in a very remarkable sort of building. A building where all sorts of memories and experiences are formed. And now, your experience of graduating in this place will take part of the history, the heritage, and your own personal bank of memories. I hope that this occasion will be fitting, memorable, and purely enjoyable as you celebrate your successes. This is, of course, the end of a long period of hard work and a day of celebrating. I trust that in the course of today you've had the opportunity to renew friendships, to rekindle memories, and once again, to enjoy the whole experience of being a Cardiff student. I hope you have been able to take a few moments to soak up all that that means, the privilege and responsibility that goes with our education. Acquiring a university education is no mean feat. And so I commend you, first of all, for gaining a place at this university, but also for the dedication, commitment, and sheer hard work that you have demonstrated that has got you to this point. Over the last 2 years, we have, each one of us, faced the most extraordinary sorts of challenges. Throughout this difficult period, you, the students of this university, have shown resilience, patience, and creativity. You have shown understanding and a willingness, a determination and a tenacity. And for that, you are not only well placed for the future, but you have the thanks of this institution. We hope that this evening's celebration instills that sense of pride in you. That you leave here knowing that you are now part of a very special family, the Cardiff University alumni community. For this university will always be your university. This is our community. So we hope you will stay in touch. Come and visit us often, as together we continue our responsibility for the world and our interest in learning and in human discovery. For now, enjoy the ceremony. Embody perhaps the most famous aspect of this stadium, that you, the team players, enjoy the game, urged on by a lively, loud crowd of remarkably proud supporters. I think, class of 2020, that those that you've brought with you have got the message. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you, Reverend Powell, for your wonderful words. And, well, we can feel it. We can see it. We can feel it. We're all part of the Cardiff University family. Now, I'd like to introduce Cardiff University's President and Vice-Chancellor, Professor Colin Reardon.
Sorry, I've got a slight glitch here. Just a moment. There we are. Noswaith dda a chroeso. Colin Reardon dwi, clywydd ac is-ganghellor, Prifysgol Caerdydd. Mae'n bleser mawr bod yma gyda chi heno. Good evening and welcome everybody. My name's Colin Reardon and I'm President Vice-Chancellor of Cardiff University. Now, before I start, I need to apologise, not for my microphone falling off, but because for some of you today, it has not gone as we'd hoped. We know you had problems accessing your gowns and photography with long delays. We're truly sorry. We worked really hard with our supplier to try and resolve the issues, and we did try to put right what we could. For some of you and your families, this has made today more challenging than it should have been, and I apologise for that. What I hope now is that this ceremony marks a turning point in your day. It's a chance for us to recognise all the hard work you've put in while studying for your degree, and to thank those who've helped you throughout your time here. But just as importantly, it's an opportunity to look ahead to the future and to mark a new chapter in your lives. This year's graduation is extra special for us as we celebrate with 3 years' worth of students. As the class of 2020, you have waited patiently for this opportunity to experience graduation in person, and for that, we're extremely grateful. Our coat of arms is up here behind me, bears the slogan Gwirionedd, Undod a Chydgord, which in English is truth, unity and concord. These values have never been more relevant in the last 2.5 years. Though 2020 may seem like a long time ago, we remember it for being the year in which everybody came together in the fight against COVID-19. More than 1,000 of our medical students, some of you here tonight, volunteered to support the Welsh NHS. Many of you worked, yes, give them a big round of applause. We had thought originally that our students would be in support roles, but many worked on the front line at hospitals across Wales, others in general practice or supporting efforts through medical education. And despite all the problems they faced, our world-leading researchers continue to make groundbreaking discoveries, both in COVID research and in all the fields that we cover. And our students, you, continued your studies as you did in the latter part of your degrees. But as you well know, university life is about more than studying, and I do hope that Cardiff University has given you more than just a degree. During your time here, you may have joined a students' union club or society, or volunteered or spent time abroad. You may have helped a housemate, championed a cause, or started a new hobby. Whatever it is you've done, I hope it's given you special memories and great friends and experiences that will stay with you forever. For some of you, today may be tinged with sadness as you say goodbye to Cardiff. It is a fantastic place, isn't it? What a city to go to university in. I'm sure it will be full of wonderful memories. In fact, it's so amazing here that I'm sure many of you may already have decided to stay, whether this is for work or further study. Either way, today you officially join the Cardiff University alumni community of over 200,000 graduates. Although, to be honest, you've been part of it for some time now. But still, Cardiff alumni are great global citizens. Some are activists and have high profiles. Others are quiet, solid contributors to their communities. Whatever your style, I encourage you to bring Cardiff's values wherever life takes you. Bring your passion for learning, your commitment to community, and your compassion and kindness to everything you do. The Welsh word hiraeth is made for moments like this. It conveys a sense of place, of love, of longing, of memories. We hope you'll keep hiraeth in your hearts for Cardiff University. So please do stay in touch, come and visit us often, and act as an ambassador for Cardiff wherever your life takes you. Spread the word about this great city and this great university, and share your huge pride at being a Cardiff graduate. Thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you, Dr. Reardon. Hiraeth. It's a beautiful word and a wonderful sentiment there from the Vice-Chancellor. And next, we come to the part of the ceremony where we confer the honorary awards. I'd like to introduce the orator for the ceremony, Cardiff University's Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Damien Walford-Davis, to tell us more about these extraordinary individuals.
Noswaith dda bawb, ein myfyrwyr, ein staff a'n gwesteion lu. Good evening, everybody. So we come to that part of the ceremony that celebrates distinguished people for outstanding contributions within their field and to society, to Cardiff, Wales, and the world. Now, many of them are Cardiff alumni. Today, they, like you, will be recognised and rewarded. Their success is part of your day's success. Dyma gyfle I nodi ein hedmygedd, ein balchder a'n diolch wrth gyflwyno cymrodoriaethau a graddau Anrhydydd. That recognition is given through the award of honorary fellowships. Journalists and correspondents do not get much more experienced as global commentators or much more decorated than Elizabeth Palmer. A Cardiff alumna who completed a postgraduate program in the School of Journalism, Media and Culture, she is CBS News Senior Foreign Correspondent, currently serving as the network's Asia correspondent. She has had a distinguished career with a Canadian broadcasting company and CBS, with high-profile bureau chief roles in Mexico City, Moscow, and London. After the September the 11th attacks, she became a hugely trusted voice and on-location witness across the Middle East, covering war and upheavals, and here's another list, in Libya, Iraq, Syria, Iran, Yemen, and also Afghanistan. She was in Paris for coverage of the massacre at the Bataclan Club in 2015. Elizabeth won one of journalism's highest accolades in 2018, a DuPont Award for her reporting on the Syrian civil war. She has brought the terrible contexts of war and of terrorism to the world's attention with searing clarity and deep humanity. Elizabeth Palmer. Our next fellow has an unparalleled knowledge of the Welsh sporting landscape. Nurtured during her time as a high-level athlete, she won 44 caps for Wales in hockey, as a trailblazing sports reporter, commentator and presenter for a range of broadcasters, and as a member of a number of high-profile boards. She has been a sports reporter for ITV Cymru Wales News, presenting on a range of major sporting events from Euro 2020 to the new Hollywood ownership at Wrexham FC. She's covered international and Champions League football, international rugby, international cricket, her own beloved hockey, ice hockey, netball, and the 2018 Gold Coast Commonwealth Games. Passionate about equality in her current career in sport and in society more generally, she is a proud member of the LGBTQ+ community, and in 2015 she became the first LGBTQ+ Sport Cymru ambassador and a Stonewall role model. She's offered a candid, generous, and personal pledge as follows: I don't want anyone to feel like I did, and if I help one little girl or boy be more confident, I've done my job. Beth Fisher. Renowned entrepreneur and innovator and Cardiff graduate Gordon Sanghera is co-founder and CEO of Oxford Nanopore, a specialist in DNA analysis and portable DNA sequencers. His company is making a substantial contribution to positive social change with major global impact, including transmissible and other diseases and crop genomics. Gordon's career in bioelectronic sensing started with his PhD at Cardiff University. He then joined Medisense, an Oxford University spin-out, and has come to prominence through Oxford Nanopore's innovative products, all brilliantly named. The portable DNA sequencer called the Minion, which is deployed in Zika, Ebola, and malaria surveillance. Then there is the Prometheon, and in development, the Smidgian, a tiny device that will enable a mobile phone to sequence DNA. There is also, by the way, the Flongle and the Gridiron. The gaffer of an amateur football team. Gordon extends the idea of total football, the idea that is that players can swap positions, to structures at his own company, ensuring an exciting, responsive, and collegial dynamic. Gordon Sanghera. Heroic and rigorous investigative journalism, in the words of a citation for one of the many international prizes she has garnered. That is the meat and drink of Observer and former Daily Telegraph features writer Carol Cadwallader. Carol came to international attention in 2018 when she exposed the Facebook Cambridge Analytica data scandal. She has won a Polk Award. She's won a Polk Award and the Orwell Prize for political journalism, and she was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize in 2019. She was also awarded the Reporters Without Borders Award in 2018 for her work on the subversion of democratic processes. Her investigative journalism informed the Department of Digital, Culture, Media and Sports investigations into fake news and the use of data and dark ads in elections. She recently collaborated with Netflix on a documentary entitled The Great Hack. Such credentials and her continuing interest in the Welsh context of a phenomenon like Brexit are the hallmarks of a razor-sharp Welsh internationalist mind, convinced of the necessity of fearless public interest reporting. Carol Cadwaladr. Cardiff alumna Laura Trevelyan is a distinguished BBC anchor and correspondent based in New York City. Her career began on local London papers and Channel 4 before her move to the BBC as a researcher and an assistant producer for Newsnight. As a reporter in the 1990s, she covered the IRA ceasefire and the Northern Ireland peace process, shifting towards the end of that decade to political reporting. A move to the US in 2004 saw an extension of her coverage with a focus on the United Nations to Darfur, Congo, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka. Laura then joined the BBC World News America as an anchor correspondent, and in that role she has anchored coverage of so many dramatic events. During the coronavirus outbreak, she reported from the hardest hit neighborhoods of New York City. She was on the steps of the US Capitol on the fateful day when it was stormed by Trump's supporters. The author of masterful non-fiction studies of her own notable family and of the Winchester gun, she is as adept at sifting history as she is at communicating history as it breaks. Laura Trevelyan. Chris Jones, who graduated from this university in 1979, has devoted his whole professional career to the NHS in Wales and to the health of Wales's most deprived populations. His commitment to eliminating health inequalities and to widening access, medical education and training has been actioned through his general practice work in the South Wales Valleys, in his role as chair of numerous trusts, and as a lead of a number of ministerial reviews. Chris studied medicine in Cardiff. He then entered general practice, becoming chair of Rhondda Cynon Taf Local Health Board and Cwm Taf University Health Board. Made CBE in 2007, Chris is now chair of Health Education and Improvement Wales, which has a leading role in shaping the healthcare workforce in Wales. He is a role model for medical and other healthcare students and staff, his focus being innovation that delivers the primary and community services that all of Wales deserves. Chris Jones. Author, journalist, broadcaster, Sally Hughes has contributed to publications including Vogue, Elle, The Telegraph, The Observer, Cosmopolitan, Radio Times, and Empire, where she was nominated for Columnist of the Year. The Guardian's beauty editor since 2011, Sally commands a large and diverse following and is known for her articulate, straight-talking advice, an articulacy that comes through clearly in her 4 published books as well. She contributes regularly to BBC Radio 4, including Women's Hour, Late Night Woman's Hour, You and Yours, A Good Read, and the Today programme. She's also presented her own show on Soho Radio and recently launched her own podcast. Having written honestly about her experience of being one of the hidden homeless as a teenager, she presented a report for BBC Wales in 2018 that explored homelessness in Wales. Shining a light on social inequality and individuals' lived lives does not end there. Sally co-founded Beauty Banks in 2017, which tackles the issues of hygiene poverty working closely with the Thamai Homelessness Charity, one of the university's own partners, to distribute donations of essential care and cosmetic products to charities across the UK. Sally Hughes. Three Triple Crowns, 2008, 2012, 2019. 4 Six Nations Championships, 2008, 12, 13, 19. 3 Grand Slams, 2008, 12, 19. World Cup semis, World Cup quarterfinals. A 14-game unbeaten run that resulted in world #1 ranking. This is Kiwi Warren Gatland's unmatched record of achievement as head coach of Wales's national rugby team. Oh yeah. An exceptional leader, motivator, and strategist, and also importantly as the players whose trust he won completely and whom he developed so well attest, an excellent people manager. Warren has excelled also as a British and Irish Lions rugby coach, winning a test series in Australia in 2012 and drawing a test series in New Zealand 4 years later. Okay. Let's not forget his own playing career and his coaching of Connaught, Ireland, London Wasps, and Waikato, New Zealand, his alma mater, with whom Cardiff University is proud to have a strategic partnership. His influence, and let's say his halo effect, not only on rugby results, but also on the wider rugby culture in Wales, have been profound. He commands adulation every time he returns to Wales. Yn wir, dyma Gymro Anrhydedd. Warren Gatland. Will those to be awarded an honorary fellowship please now stand? I will now present these distinguished individuals who are to be awarded an honorary fellowship of Cardiff University. Anrhydeddus Isganghellor, cyflwyna fi ti i'r rhai sydd i'w derbyn yn gymrodir Anrhydedd Prifysgol Caerdydd.
Troi'r awdurdod i mi gan y Cyngor, derbyniad chi fel cymrodir Anrhydedd Prifysgol Caerdydd. Congratulations. Gyfachiadau. Diolch.
What wonderful, inspiring fellows. Welcome all to Cardiff University, to our community. Now, to deliver a speech on behalf of the new fellows, I'd like to introduce Laura Trevelyan. She's a journalist whose 30-year career at the BBC has seen her report on major news stories from around the world.
Thank you so much. I have to say, I'm a bit worried about the echo as a broadcast professional, so I'm going to do my best, but I apologise for it. Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, graduates, families and friends, it is so wonderful to see you all here today after this hideous, tedious, difficult 2.5 years in which all of the rites of passage by which we measure our lives have been so disrupted by the pandemic. and to you, the class of 2020, more than anyone else, I feel. So congratulations, you made it through a challenging time. You go, class of 2020. If anyone has got this, it is you, because you were forged through adversity and you have gone into the world already and you're making it. And I couldn't be more proud and in awe of you. Now, those of us who are being presented with fellowships by Cardiff University today are really super honoured to be recognised in this way. It is a very special day to be celebrating with the Cardiff community on behalf of all of the new honorary fellows. Thank you to the university for this recognition. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you, Beth Ann Rhys-Roberts, for that pronunciation. I hope that was all right. It is a privilege to be included in this group of distinguished honorary fellows, and it's especially meaningful to be in the company of other female journalists. We are what Americans would call a sorority. Now, my husband, James Goldston, who I met here in Cardiff at the Journalism School in 1990, and I hope a lot of you have also met your future life partners. I can tell you, it's one hell of a marriage bureau. James was made an honorary fellow of the university in 2019, and we couldn't be more excited about being Mr. and Mrs. Honorary Fellow. And when I get back home to New York, I'm going to frame his scroll along with mine, and we'll put them somewhere prominent, like the loo. And we are so grateful to Cardiff for bringing us together and teaching us the tools of our trade. Our fellow CJS alum, Beth Ann Rhys-Roberts, the BBC Wales anchor, is here with me today, somewhere in this vast stadium, a testament to the lifelong friendships we made in this wonderful city. And last night, we were painting the town red in our time-honoured tradition, something we learned here, as I hope that you will do tonight. Now, fellow journalist Carol Cadwallader is being made an honorary fellow today, as you heard. Her years-long battle to investigate the role of social media in our democracy, and in particular the Brexit referendum, has given me a theme for my brief, I promise you, address today. In Tom Stoppard's play Night and Day, a veteran photographer tells a young reporter, people do awful things to each other, but it's worse in places where everybody is kept in the dark. Information is light. Information in itself about anything is light. Tom Stoppard's own life informed that line. As a child, he fled Czechoslovakia when the Nazis invaded. Stoppard's point is that without accurate information, we are in darkness, unable to make informed decisions. In 2022, we have never had access to more information, and yet disinformation is rife. The infamous phrase, alternative facts, was coined by an advisor to former President Trump. But, as the second president of the United States, John Adams, said, facts are stubborn things, and whatever may be our wishes, our inclinations, or the dictates of our passions, they cannot alter the state of facts and evidence. My hope is that this generation of Cardiff graduates, the class of 2020, that I see before me in all your glory, understand that information is light and that you seek out the truth, whatever it is that you do with your lives. Ask the difficult questions. Be a critical thinker. Follow the data. Don't parrot slogans without asking what they mean. From Stop the Steal to defund the police, the polarization of American politics in recent years, which I have witnessed firsthand, has been fueled by the embrace of narratives which do not stand up to scrutiny. Narrative does not equate to policy. It's difficult, as you know better than me, because I'm a dinosaur, in this age of social media and public pressure, it's so hard to resist the pressure to join in the cause of the moment, to step back, to ask what's really going on. But it's your civic duty to do that and to set the example for the generation that comes behind you. The world saw what happened in America on January the 6th, 2021. I was on the steps of the US Capitol hiding. The peaceful transfer of power was disrupted by an angry crowd who believed that the American presidential election had been stolen from their candidate. This summer, the public hearings held by the Congressional Committee investigating January the 6th have revealed how President Trump's close advisors knew there was no election fraud and told the president so. And yet, the narrative of Stop the Steal took hold with disastrous results. This summer in America, a young woman called Cassidy Hutchinson told the truth. As a witness in front of the January the 6th committee, she testified under oath that President Trump knew some of the crowd attending his rally that day were armed and dangerous, and yet he urged them to march on the Capitol and fight like hell. Cassidy Hutchinson is 26, just a few years older than you. She has demonstrated this summer that information is light. My husband, James Goldston, alumni of Cardiff Journalism School and formerly the president of ABC News in the US, became an advisor to the January the 6th committee this spring, and he produced this summer's public hearings. He has helped to tell the story of what really happened on that dark day in American democracy, building on everything he learnt here at Cardiff Journalism School more than 30 years ago. Now, inconvenient truths may be public, or they may be private, as I recently discovered. Thanks to University College London's database of slave ownership in the British Caribbean, I learned recently that my ancestors owned slaves on the Caribbean island of Grenada. After sitting somewhat uncomfortably with this information for a while, I felt compelled to go to Grenada and to find out more. The BBC commissioned a radio and TV documentary called Grenada, Confronting the Past, in which I saw for myself the legacy of slavery, how poverty and ill health persist, because the wealth from the sugar trade flowed out of the islands and into the pockets of families like mine, and into the pockets of the Welsh gentry here in Cardiff, who had substantial investments in the plantations. When slavery was abolished in 1834, the Trevelyan's were among thousands of families who received compensation from the British government for the loss of what was termed their property. The slaves got nothing. In fact, they had to carry on working for their masters for another 8 years for free, which was really another form of enslavement. I wondered how I would be received in Grenada, someone whose ancestors were absentee slave owners, on an island where almost everyone is descended from slaves. But I learned that Grenadians want to talk about the painful past, and they want to talk about how it reverberates today. I held the shackles which were used to restrain slaves in my hands, and I saw the neck braces that were used to punish the enslaved. And I understood then the full horror of this system of brutal oppression from which my ancestors had profited. As a child learning history at school, I was taught that Britain abolished the slave trade. William Wilberforce, the abolitionist, loomed large in my classroom. And of course, he's a hugely significant historical figure. But the extent of Britain's involvement in the slave trade was glossed over in favour of a narrative which emphasised abolition, not exploitation. In Grenada, I learnt this spring that by acknowledging the pain of the past, the process of healing can begin. Cardiff University's motto is truth, unity and concord. Studying journalism here was for me a beacon of light and truth. The skills I was taught here have underpinned my 30-year career, and I have learned to ask the difficult questions. Whatever you do next, remember that information is light, and never be afraid to speak truth to power. Good luck on your journey. I can't wait to see what you all do next. Thank you to Cardiff University for the opportunity to speak to all of you today and for conferring upon myself and my colleagues the distinction of honorary fellowships. Go class of 2020. You've got this.
Incredible, inspiring. Thank you very much. Now it's the turn of Students' Union President for 2019 to 2020, Jackie Yip. She's here to share some thoughts and congratulations. Welcome, Jackie.
Wow. Can you believe it, class of 2020? We are here. We are Cardiff. Hooray to you. It's been 2 years since I've seen you, since we finished our degrees. How amazing to finally celebrate together. We did it. We have made it to right here, right now. This moment in this amazing stadium with each other, with our families, our friends, and our wonderful professors. This moment is to be cherished in our Cardiff community. I've been thinking a lot about community and what that means to us. I've been thinking that when we arrived at Cardiff as students, we found that this university, this city, it offered us a home. Each of us found a place at Cardiff where we weren't strangers, we weren't the odd one out, where we found our tribe. When we all come across that bridge, or down from the valleys, or fly into Heathrow, or walk up from Splot, we all come home to Cardiff. This university, this city, they're global, they're Welsh, they're a melting pot. In a lecture, we could be sat by someone from West Wales on one side and Hong Kong on the other. But then the three of us, we'd go to the same place to watch the same rugby match. We'd go together. Just think of the warmth, quite literally. This amazing city, the Welsh accents, the Welsh language. Think of the friendly locals who shorten your name as if they've known you for a decade. Hey, Jack. Think of eating a Welsh cake. Think of looking after one another, and that is our community. Cardiff is our home, and it always will be wherever we go next. I've also been thinking about what success might mean to us now. And class of 2020, you can be so proud to measure your successes. And your successes can be enormous, or they can be small wins. It doesn't matter that you haven't landed that dream job yet. It doesn't matter that all you achieved in lockdown was perfect that banana bread recipe. Celebrate it. Or perhaps you don't quite know what that dream job is yet. And that's okay. You are your own measure for success. Because it's so easy to be here and look at others and compare and think, that should be me. Instead of looking within, and ask yourself what you actually want, and celebrate the small things that matter to you. 2 years is nothing in the course of a life, so don't feel as though you haven't achieved enough. When you come back to the city, you don't have to be an enhanced version of yourself, because Cardiff will always welcome you back to celebrate your successes, however big or small. Class of 2020, we've been apart for 2 long years. So I hope today is a reminder to take your successes and Cardiff's community spirit with you wherever you go. That wonderful Cardiff vibe. The one that says kindness all over it. The one that looks out for other people. The one that tries hard to make a difference. Because I know we can put our hats in the ring. We can be kind. And we can be part of the solution to the challenges in this world. Diane, class of 2020, keep on being you and keep on being Cardiff. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jackie. And now I'd like to ask you to turn your attention to one of the big screens for a short film to welcome you to our alumni community. Almost every face that you'll see in this film is a Cardiff alum, including a few of whom might be here today. So it's basically, it's made by alumni for alumni. Enjoy.
Take a look around you. Be welwch chi. What do you see? Class of 2020. Today we take stock of everything we've achieved and say thank you to those who always believed. So scroll through memories, cymryd selfies gyda'r besties, and stand up straight for the photographer. Say cheese. Today we remember how we got this far. The late nights and bright lights, and moments we didn't do as well as we might. Pob dyddiad cau, dyfal barhau, o weithio'n galed i'r dathliadau. Today we're rewarded for all the hard work that started way back with the first steps we took. Dropped at Talabont, yng Nghennydd, Aberdare or Aberconwy, I ganol y freshers, heb wybod lle I fynd, heb nabod bob un, nes canfod ffrindiau oes yn neidiau hoff cytun. First dates.
Soulmates.
I'm gonna start crying at this rate.
Today we're part of something that's hard to describe. The new class of an old tribe. A tradition that'll be there our whole lives. A network that continues to help us thrive. Years from now, we'll see someone with a badge on their tie or hear people on a bus shouting,
Cheese drive.
And we'll remember where we came from, where we came into our own, where we made our mark. Canfod Cartref, where we found a home. Today we make noise like it's the varsity game and count ourselves lucky we found people with the same interests, hobbies, byd o'r hiwmor nes bod ni'n ffoli. People who tried to shelter us with broken brollies. People who helped us find our limits and push them out the way. People who helped us get to this point.
On this day.
Today is a day we mark everything we've shared. A day we tell people just how much we cared, that they were always there, even when they couldn't be. Roedden ni'n gwybod y deiau eto hael lyfryn for all the long hours we've had to put in. We still had those nights that went right through till dawn, and days we dug deeper than ever before. So here's to those late night revisers and early risers, to sunny days that passed by in Butte Park, to that special someone who gave us that special spark and helped us to grow, to transform, to dream. Today's for that someone we're proud to have at our team. What happens tomorrow is whatever you choose. Go make news or break news, but absolutely refuse to be told that can't be done, because we've only just begun to make records and break records and make history and break history and say,
Dyma fy myd I. This is the world I want to see.
10,
20,
30,
40.
Years from now, you'll look back on today and realise you've been by your side the whole way. But right now, right here, let's savour the moment and say, llongyfarchiadau, congratulations.
Let's get the celebrations underway.
Take a moment. Look around you. Be welwch chi. What do you see? We're Cardiff University. Croeso, welcome to your alumni community.
I have to tell the truth, I could watch that over and over again. It gives me goosebumps every time. And it just makes me so proud to formally, because you have been alumni for a while now, it really makes me so proud to formally introduce you and welcome you to the alumni community. So I'd like to now introduce you to Aneth Duffrey, a student from the university's School of Welsh, who will read a very special poem commissioned by the university, which you can also find at the back of the ceremony program. Aneth will also read the university proclamation.
Education gan Gwyneth Lewis. Beiddia feiddio, gwethad o wneud. Myna geisio, parcha ddweud. Traws newidiad fydd y glod, dyddyfodol mentro bod. Learning's a passport that returns you home a better person. It permits you to dare being daring, makes you secure with not knowing everything, helps you welcome some failure, forges an alloy with others' thinking. It is simple delight in mind and its motions, scintillates but isn't deceptive, admits the joy of institutes, is the open road to everywhere but bigotry. It's the shortest distance between you and me, and if you're lucky, it never ends. I will now read the University Proclamation, first in Welsh and then in English. Nerth gwlad ei gwybodau. Bydded wybod I holl aelodau'r Brifysgol ac ar draws y byd bod cynulliad Prifysgol Caerdydd yn cael ei gynnal heddiw ym Mhrifddinas Cymru. O dan awdurdod Siarter Frenhinol y Brifysgol, mae'r cynulliad hwn yn cyfarfod I dderbyn y myfyrwyr hynny sydd yn rhinwedd I hasidiaethau a'i hysgolheictod wedi archwilio'n briodol yn ôl statudau'r Brifysgol ac wedi cael yn deilwng o'i graddau. Dathlo'n lwyddiant y rhai sy'n grafio yn y cynulliad hwn, ac wrth wneud hynny, fe'i hatgoffwn o'i cyfrifoldeb I rannu gwerthoedd y Brifysgol hon, hwy sydd I geisio trwy cyflawniadau, gwasanaethu lles pawb, ymdrechu am ragoriaeth ym mhob peth, a gofalu am ddyfodol ein byd. Parchwch ddoi ffineb gan I fod yn cynnig gobaith a gwirionedd ym mhob cenhedlaeth. A nation's strength is in its learning. Let it be known to all members of the university and throughout the world that today in the capital city of Wales, a congregation of Cardiff University is taking place. Under the authority of the University Royal Charter, this congregation meets to receive those students who, by virtue of their studies and scholarship, have been appropriately examined according to the statutes of the university and found worthy of their degrees. We celebrate the success of those who graduate in this congregation, and in doing so, remind them of their responsibility to share in the values of this university. It is for them to seek, through their achievements, to serve the common good, to strive for excellence on all things, and care for the future of our world. Be attentive to wisdom, for it offers hope and truth in every generation. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you, Anesh. Beautifully read. Now, we're now at the pinnacle moment of the ceremony. It's the presentation of our graduates. So I'd like to introduce you to a fellow Cardiff University alumnus, the University Chair of Council, Pat Young, and welcome back to the stage, Vice-Chancellor, Professor Colin Reardon.
Madonna doesn't have the same problems with these mics. Anyway, Noswaith Da, good evening. I have the privilege of drawing this evening's ceremony to a close. Firstly, join me in saying thank you to our brilliant compere Michaela, who has been a fantastic host this evening. I graduated from this university 40 years ago, and I'm delighted to be here tonight as part of your celebration. Now, one final part of this graduation is giving you, our students, the opportunity to say thank you to all of those who've supported you throughout your degrees. I'm sure you'll agree that without this support, You may not have arrived at this point today, and so it is right that we give these very important people the recognition they deserve. So firstly, could I ask you for a huge round of applause for the academics and staff here at Cardiff University who have supported and guided you through your degrees. Secondly, please join me in giving a huge round of applause to our inspirational honorary awardees who are also joining the very special Cardiff University family today. And finally, to the families, friends and supporters who've helped you throughout this incredible journey. Some of them may not be here this evening, but if they're not, I'd like you to try and cheer this roof off so that they can hear you wherever they are in the world or beyond. To our supporters. Now then, class of 2020. I have to tell you the class of 2022 were much, much better. So on the count of three, we're going to do it again for our family and supporters. 1, 2, 3. Let's hear it. Some of you have been here before. I will now hand over to the Vice-Chancellor, who will undertake the final and most important part of this ceremony, conferring you all to your degrees. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you very much.
My final duty this evening is officially to receive our students to your award. In keeping with tradition, I will recite a phrase in Welsh to receive all of you to your award, which in English is, I receive you to your award with all the privileges which this confers, and I will do it in groups. The first group is our PhD and professional doctorate students. Could those doctoral graduates who are able to stand please rise to your feet? These awards are the highest level of academic qualification that one can receive. They involve a significant amount of commitment, determination, and dedication to a specific field of expertise. Earning a PhD or a professional doctorate is a major achievement. It requires many hours, days, weeks, months, years of hard work and sacrifice, so you should be commended for this very special achievement. Now comes the important bit. Rhoi'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi gan y brifysgol, derbyniaf chi I gael eich dyfarniad ar holl freintiau y ddaw yn ei sgil. Llongyfarchiadau. Congratulations. Well done, da iawn. Please be seated. Next, could all our postgraduates who are able to stand please rise to your feet? To undertake further study and apply yourself to develop your skills is a significant commitment. All of you here today have excelled in your studies and should be incredibly proud of your hard work. Troi'r awdurdod ar ddodod I mi gan y brifysgol, derbyniaf chi I gael eich dyfarniad ar holl freintiau a ddaw yn ei sgil. Llongyfarchiadau, congratulations. Thank you very much. Please be seated. And finally, to our undergraduate students. Please, could all our undergraduates who are able to stand rise to your feet? To secure a degree from Cardiff University takes dedication, commitment, and hard work. You have excelled in your chosen subject, and I commend you on your achievements. Troi'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi gan y brifysgol, derbyniaf chi I gael eich dyfarniad ar holl freintiau a ddaw yn ei sgil. Llongyfarchiadau, congratulations. Undergraduates, please remain standing. The receiving of all your awards marks the end of this evening's ceremony. May I thank you all once again on behalf of everyone at Cardiff University for joining us today. But before we finish, can I ask everybody in the hall who can stand, please, to be upstanding. This is now the opportunity for a big final celebration. Well said. Tonight, we celebrate you all, so let's really do it this time. Let's raise the roof of the stadium and let everyone watching at home know how proud we are of our Cardiff graduates. Class of 2020, here's to you. You did it. Llongyfarchiadau I bawb. Thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr.